What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an Around the Point prediction show, predicting New Japan's Battle in the Valley show coming up this Saturday, February 18th from San Jose, California. I am solo doing this. I'm your host, Kaden Lee, solo hosting today to give my predictions for this very anticipated show for New Japan. Big show in the States, the debut of Mercedes Moné, her first match since either late May or early June when she wrestled in WWE and walked out as one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions with Naomi. She, of course, debuted at Wrestle Kingdom 17 earlier this year on January 4th. And she will be challenging Kairi for the IWGP Women's title. Our main event is also going to have the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship defended. Kazuchika Okada making his second defense. He defended against Shingo Takagi last weekend at New Beginning in Osaka. And now he will defend against his handpicked opponent, Hiroshi Tanahashi, one of his classic rivals, Tanahashi. So let's get into this show. We're going to start at the very bottom of this card. New Japan likes to put their cards in order, so that's pretty helpful when you do it like that, because then we can actually go in the order that we need to go in. So let's off with this first match. They're kicking off the show with Alex Coughlin taking on JR Kratos. Alex Coughlin, a graduate of the LA Dojo. He was a young lion, recently graduated. I think he should have his own trunks at this point. JR Kratos has been doing some decent work the last year and a half in New Japan Strong, or year or so in New Japan Strong. I'm gonna choose JR Kratos here. There's nothing insane about this. This is just the way New Japan does it, right? Where they like to build up as the show goes on and they get to their bigger matches later. And well, a lot of people now will think, oh, kickoff match is supposed to be a hot match. New Japan doesn't follow that. They put probably the least anticipated match first. So that's kind of what this is. Nothing really special here, but yeah, JR Kratos, Alex Coughlin. Next up, we have David Finlay taking on Bobby Fish. David Finlay has been on AEW. Bobby Fish was signed there for a little bit. Finlay, I think he wrestled Hangman Adam Page, if I remember correctly, back in June as they were building up to Forbidden Door. He had a very good feud with his former tag team partner with Juice Robinson during the G1 Climax. Good little storytelling going on over there. Great matches with Will Ospreay in it was like late August and throughout September. They had some really good matches wrestling for the IWGP US Championship because David Finlay, he beat Juice Robinson in the G1, took that championship, the fake championship, because Will Ospreay is technically the champion. Juice Robinson never gave back his title that he had. He just kept on, he held on to the title that New Japan had gave him to travel with. He held on to the traveling title. And then Finlay beat Juice for the traveling title, the fake title that wasn't really acknowledged as the real one. Just basically it's a replica title belt at that point. And then Finlay beat Juice in the G1, took that title, walked away from him, and then faced Will Ospreay. So Finlay had a pretty good 2022, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do here. Bobby Fish is obviously, I think we got something for Bobby Fish. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think a lot of people really care about seeing Bobby Fish wrestle on this show.
I mean, folks, where's the lie?
This dude has lost so much steam over the last year. Think back to where he was at this time a year ago. He was in a feud with he was starting off that feud with the Young Bucks, with the Undisputed Elite. He was about to go into Revolution, a triple threat tag match with 6 men involved, 2-2-2 with the Bucks and Jurassic Express. So yeah, it's this guy is now going to be on the second match of the show against, and while I really like David Finlay, he's kind of just a mid-carder in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I'm honestly, I don't know where they're going to go here. I would think Bobby Fish, because I just think that he might be a little difficult and be like, well, I'm not going to put over David Finlay. Where's the lie? He's a jobber, which is not true. I really like David Finlay. But yeah, I'm going to go with Bobby Fish here mainly because I think this guy's just going to politic his way into getting it. I think he would only take the booking if he thought he was going to win or was told he was going to win. I mean, just look at what this dude did against CM Punk, where he took the GTS and then kicked out at 3.1. I think he's going to politic his way into winning this. So yeah, I got Bobby Fish here. I do think this could be a really fun match, especially when it's going to be second on the card. You're not expecting those first few matches to be that great. This could end up being pretty good if they gave him maybe 10 to 12 minutes to go and Bobby Fish decides he actually wants to show up and have a good match. And when he shows up, he can have a very good match. And when he doesn't, it's terrible. So it just depends on if he wants to work that night, if he really wants to put his all into this match. Yeah. Next up, though, we have an 8-man tag match. Mascara Dorado, Josh Alexander, the Impact World's Champion, Adrian Quest, and Rocky Romero taking on Kushida, Kevin Knight, Volador Jr., and DKC. This is basically that's kind of just the LA Dojo with Volador Jr. and taking on a team of people from around the world. You got Mascara Dorado from CMLL. You got Adrian Quest in there, Rocky Romero, New Japan. He's kind of their U.S. ambassador, has been in AEW. He wrestled on Forbidden Door in a IWGP Tag Team Championship match. And then Josh Alexander, he's the Impact Champion, he had a fantastic 2022. He was one of my top 5 wrestlers of the year. So yeah, I've got Josh Alexander's team picking up the win here. I think that they're going to give the Impact Champion a big win on the show and have him pin Volador Jr. or DKC. And then you can also set up Alexander versus Kushida. Next week, I think, is No Surrender, and Alexander will be facing, I think he's facing Rich Swann at No Surrender, if I remember correctly. So this could set up the next challenger for Alexander. You can do Kushida. I don't know if there's a show between now. I think there's a show in March before we get to Rebellion in April, but I think does he? Oh no, he's facing Kushida at Multiverse United WrestleMania weekend. I think that's who he's facing. I think it's him and Kushida, right? Let me make sure. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's him and Kushida. So I mean, maybe you do give Kushida's team a win. That way, Kushida looks strong. Going into that match, if I remember correctly, I think that is the match. I'm just trying to confirm it. If anybody in the chat knows, please tell me because I cannot find it. It's not easy to find. Impact does not the best job of promoting their shows. Why can I know Ospreay is wrestling. Yeah. Josh Alexander is defending against Kushida. So yeah, now I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to say Kushida's team picks up the win here by pinning. I'll go with, what's the guy? Adrian Quest. I'll say they pin Adrian Quest. I would say Kushida makes him tap out to the hoverboard lock. It makes Kushida get a win against Josh Alexander, at least in some way. And that way that match is at least a little bit justified at Multiverse United on March 30th, I believe is the date. So yeah, I'm going to go with Kushida, the DKC, Kevin Knight, and Volador Jr. So yeah, next up, Fred Rosser will be defending his New Japan Strong Openweight Championship against Kenta, 30-minute time limit. Fred Rosser, I believe this is his 8th defense of the title. He beat Filthy Tom Lawler for it last year. This is going to be a very good match. I really like Fred Rosser. He's been doing really good work in New Japan since he got there. He's been impressing the hell out of everybody. That's why he got this title and beat Filthy Tom and ended Filthy Tom's reign of terror. So I'm really excited to see what him and Kenta do. I think that their styles will mesh fairly well. I think when Kenta wants to show up, Kenta can have fantastic matches. And Kenta, more likely than not, recently has, I feel like he hasn't had bangers, in my opinion, recently. I've been kind of disappointed in some of his matches. But I could see him having a really good one here. You got the cheering crowd and everything. And I think this could motivate him and get something good out of him here. I'm excited to see what these two put together. And maybe you put the title on Kenta and you bring Kenta over to the States. That's where I believe he still lives stateside. So if you wanted to put the title on him and get that title in Bullet Club, because Kenta is still a member of the Bullet Club, that could be a little interesting thing you could do. And kind of do all that. I would be really interested to see if they wanted to give that title over to Kenta, but I wouldn't prefer it. So I'm going with Fred Rosser. I like that they're using people that are from the dojo, they're from LA, that those are their top guys. And I mean, when we get to the tag team championship, it's a different story with Motor City Machine Guns. But I do like that your strong openweight champion is a guy who has basically been on Strong. He is the epitome of Strong. He rose up from Strong when Strong started during the pandemic in 2020. That's what everyone started saying. Oh yeah, he's great again. Like people obviously knew who he was before this, but he built his name back up and he took over wrestling. He took over New Japan Strong in the United States. So I like that he has the title, and this is a really good win for him. It's one of the bigger wins in his defenses in his title reign. So yeah, I have Fred Rosser winning here over Kenta. This is going to be a very good match. I'm really excited to see this. Now, a match next. I don't exactly care for this just because I don't really know the opponents, but I always love my boys, the Motor City Machine Guns, defending their Strong Tag Team Championships against WCWC. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I don't know who WCWC is, and I watch a decent amount of New Japan. I don't keep like super up to date with Strong just because most of the people like I just don't really care all that much about most of the cards because they can be a little weak. But I mean, I love Motor City Machine Guns. They don't have a bad match in my opinion. It's very rare for me to walk away from a Motor City match and say, "Ooh, that was not that great." Every match was great. Every match is great that they have. So I'm excited to see at least what they can do. I would assume that they're going to win and make their defense. I think they're still the Impact Tag Team Champions. So they're still Impact Tag Team Champions. I doubt they're going to lose these titles until the end. And I mean, the main thing I care about here is first off, Motor City Machine Guns. Always fucking awesome. And those blue tag belts. I love those New Japan Strong tag belts. I got to see them up close and personal with Aussie Open when they were wrestling at GCW. I think they faced, I think it was Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver at Art of War in September 2022. I got to see those titles, and those titles are gorgeous. I like the blue. They look a little like, they kind of look like children's belts, like toys, but I really like the blue color on it, and I like the logos. I prefer it to a lot of other wrestling championships because there's some really bad ones out there right now. So I'll take those. Yeah, and I have Motor City Machine Guns winning here. I have zero thoughts on this because I just don't know enough about the other team to have an opinion. And I'm going to go ahead and, make sure you guys, like Big Mike pointing out, thank you, Big Mike, everyone that graces the chat or is watching, please hit the like button and subscribe. Yes, please go ahead and do that. And also drop a comment. Tell me what you're most looking forward to on this show. I think a lot of people are going to be excited for either the Okada match or Mercedes Moné making her in-ring debut for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I think a lot of people are really excited about that. And thank you, Mets2128, saying it's the West Coast Wrecking Crew members of Team Filthy, Joel Nelson and Royce Isaacs. Okay, I'll make sure while I'm like kind of building up to that show on Saturday, I'll get, if I can get some time, I'm going to try to watch that and watch some of their matches. And then Mets2128 saying I actually got to see Aussie Open win those titles at High Alert in July of 2022. That is awesome. I love Aussie Open. I'm a really big fan of theirs. I want to see them live more. They're just not in the States a lot. So I would like to see them come to the States for a longer period of time so I can see them actually like wrestle. Like AEW, they're free agents. Please, AEW, New Japan, someone sign these guys because I don't know why they're free agents. They're amazing. They're a very good tag team. I would like to see the rematch with them in Motor City. I think that would have been a good match to put here also, but I know why they're not doing it. But I got Motor City Machine Guns winning here. And then we're getting into the other half of the card, the second half. And I got some really strong matches here. Starting off with Eddie Kingston, the Mad King, taking on Switchblade Jay White. Switchblade, of course, lost his loser leaves Japan match against Hikuleo last week at the New Beginning in Osaka. He has to leave Japan. He said if he beats Eddie Kingston on Saturday, he will bring Gato over to the States and he will take over New Japan strong, take over New Japan in the United States of America, the US of J. So that makes me think Jay White's putting over Eddie Kingston here, right? Am I the only one like thinking, ooh, maybe he's putting over Eddie because he said if I win, then I'm bringing over Gato? And I'm gonna be honest, I'm very confident that this guy is not staying in New Japan. I think he's going to the WWE or AEW. So I do think that makes me think that Jay White will lose here. He'll put over Eddie. You can do a dirty finish if you want. I think Jay would be okay with putting over Eddie clean and giving him a big win. And Eddie needs it. Eddie really needs a big win, whether it's in AEW or New Japan. He needs something big. He has not been in a prominent position like this in about a year or so. I would say probably since he beat the last big win he had was when he beat Chris Jericho. And that was at Revolution 2022. That was almost a year ago at this point. So this is a really big win for Eddie. I hope he gets it. I'm picking him to win. I'm interested to see how this goes because these two do not work a similar style whatsoever. I always have said that Jay works a very WWE style to me. Not saying it's bad. I'm saying the way he's always worked, it feels a little WWE-ish. Eddie Kingston does not work that. He works a strong style. He works a similar style to Moxley, and he'll beat the shit out of you. So I'm very intrigued to see these two, the clash of styles here between these two wrestlers, and to see what they can put together. And I'm expecting a good match. These two guys are extremely talented. Two of my favorite promos. And then Jay White is in my top 10 wrestlers right now. I think he's fantastic. He's phenomenal. So I'm really excited to see what they do here with this match and what implications happen in the post-match if Jay White does lose. Is this his farewell to New Japan Pro Wrestling? Does he bid adieu to the fans of New Japan? And does he bid adieu to the king of pro wrestling, New Japan, king of sports? I'm very intrigued to see where this goes. It's saying Eddie has actually stated he's more of a disciple of the King's Road style. It's interesting. I have not seen Eddie say that. That's an interesting thing. Thank you, Mets2128, pointing that out for Eddie Kingston, Mad King. This is that. It's gonna be we're gonna go from probably Eddie chopping the shit out of Jay White, Jay probably chopping the shit back, to two guys who are going to beat the ever-living shit out of each other. Homicide, Filthy Tom Lawler. This is a Filthy Rules fight. It's no disqualification. There will be no ring ropes. Think about it like Bloodsport. If you've ever seen Josh Barnett's Bloodsport during Mania weekend, I would say probably think about it like that. And this is going to be a slobber knocker, to borrow it from good old JR Jim Ross. These two guys are going to destroy each other in the ring. I am very intrigued because I don't know if New Japan's ever done a match like this. I'm interested to see how it kind of goes. Homicide in this type of match is also interesting because obviously Homicide and no DQ, but taking those ropes away and putting Homicide in that, I'm very interested to see how this is going to go. Filthy Tom, like, this is his wheelhouse, right? It's a Filthy Rules fight for a reason. This is what he's good at. He's a legit MMA fighter. He's a great MMA fighter. He knows how. He's very good at doing these types of matches, and I'm really excited to see what they do here and how bloody brutal that these two go and beating the ever-living shit out of each other. I have Filthy Tom winning because it is his match. I think he'll have the advantage, and they'll put over Filthy Tom. New Japan Strong also, they love their Filthy Tom. He's one of their top guys. So I got Filthy Tom here, but I think this is going to be a really fun match between these two guys. And if you like, I just think if you like either bloody wrestling or if you like catch wrestling, you're going to end up liking this a lot. And very broad, different categories. I mean, it's the same as Jay White and Eddie Kingston, right? Like, these are two styles that I don't necessarily think go together, but I mean, like, I like the clash of them. I like to see what you can do there and see how two wrestlers can put together a fantastic match. So I'm very intrigued by this match, probably more than anything else. This is the match I'm probably the most intrigued by and curious about. And I'm taking Filthy Tom to beat Homicide. And next, Zack Sabre Jr. will defend his New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship. 15-minute time limit, because that's the time limit on every match for this title against Clark Connors. Clark Connors, if you are not a very big New Japan head, you're not paying attention a lot, you'll remember Clark Connors likely from Forbidden Door, the four-way for the first champion, the first All Atlantic champion for All Elite Wrestling against Miro, Malachi Black, and the Bastard Pack. He took Tomohiro Ishii's spot. He faced Ishii in the they did like a little 4-man bracket on New Japan's side to determine who would be representing New Japan in that match. It was Clark Connors and Ishii in the finals. Ishii won, but I believe he got injured in that match. So Clark took his spot, and he impressed the hell out of everybody. I think he kind of he stole that match. Everybody was kind of talking about this guy after that. And then unfortunately, he had a back injury like pretty close after this. And then he was taken out for a few months. He got back in later in the year, but just kind of never picked up that steam again that he had coming out of Forbidden Door. Just shitty timing, cursed show, Forbidden Door. But I'm hoping that Clark Connors can use this match to kind of get his steam back. Who the hell? Why is somebody in my chat talking about Kyrie? Oh, wrong Kyrie. I was so confused. I thought you were saying about Kyrie Irving. I was like, what? Okay. Back to this match. I got Zack Sabre Jr. Retaining his belt. The other option is I wouldn't be surprised if this went to a time limit draw and you do a rematch because it is only a 15-minute time limit. But I do think Zack Sabre Jr. is going to beat Clark. I think they're going to give a lot to Clark in this match. Like Zack will work his technical shit and then he'll get like a huge comeback. And I think they're going to give a good amount to Clark. A very good false finish there and get this guy hopefully back on the right track at least in the United States side of New Japan, because he was like after Forbidden Door, everyone knew who he was and was talking about him. And we're like, oh, we want to see more of this dude. And then injuries and shit happens. It's not New Japan's fault, but it's time to get this guy back on the right track and to get him heated up again, because I think he's extremely talented. And I've liked Clark Connors for a few years now. And I really want him to be successful. I think he's someone you could build to beat Fred Rosser for that New Japan Strong Championship, the Openweight Championship. So I would give him, like, he's going to lose, and I think he's going to lose, but give him, like, make him look really strong in defeat. And New Japan can be very good about that sometimes. So I'm expecting Clark Connors to get a lot in this match. And next up, I'm going to save the action. You know what? Yeah, I'll go by card order. I'll get yelled at. The double main event. Both these matches have a 60-minute time limit. First, we're going to talk about the match that everybody is here for, the reason why this building sold out so quickly. Kairi will defend her IWGP Women's Championship against Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné's New Japan Pro Wrestling in-ring debut. She debuted at Wrestle Kingdom 17, as I talked about earlier, coming over from World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. I very much think Mercedes Moné is winning this. I think that there is absolutely no chance in hell that Mercedes loses her first match in New Japan, first match out of WWE. Like, come on. There's no way that she can lose this match. I would be flabbergasted to be transparent with you guys. There's not a single doubt in my mind that Mercedes will win. I just hope that they get time. I think because of Mercedes, they are going to get time because she's going to demand the time. And these two will have a very good match. I expect nothing less than probably, like, if I'm ranking it, I expect at least 4.5 stars because these two women are extremely talented. Mercedes is going to be able to do all this shit that she never got to do in WWE. All this, what she's been learning, training with Kalisto down in Mexico and training in Japan and everything she's been doing. I'm very excited, and training at the LA Dojo even with Kushida. And I think she probably did something with Shibata. But I think that these two are going to have a fantastic match here. I'm interested to see when Mercedes wins, what they're going to do with her, where she's going to go, because New Japan does not have, like, they have a women's title now, but there's not really an established women's division in New Japan. This is the first time they've done this. So I don't know where they go after this, because they didn't do anything in the build up to Battle in the Valley. there wasn't really much of anything to build up to this match, right? There were no matches like they do like the multi-man tags, and they just don't have that because they don't have women. It's Stardom. So I'm interested to see, does Mercedes go to Stardom? Does she go work Impact because they have a partnership with Impact? Does she go to AEW? Does she win the title and she goes back to WWE and does a Carl Anderson where she's still the champion? I'm very intrigued to see where they go with Mercedes Moné after she wins, because I'm 99.999% confident that she's winning here. And that is to take nothing away from Kairi. I really like Kairi. I've loved Kairi for a really long time. I liked her NXT women's title run. That was when I first started watching NXT, was when she was the champion, and in that feud with Shayna Baszler. I really like Kairi, formerly known as Kairi Sane. I really like her a lot, but it's Mercedes Moné. It's like AEW. If you had like your first ever championship match was Chris Jericho against, I'm not gonna say Hangman, because Hangman was getting there, but probably like somebody maybe like a Kip Sabian or like an Orange Cassidy, like extremely talented, was on a big level for a bit, had a really good run. I guess it's not the greatest. Like maybe like Christopher Daniels, I think could be a decent comparable there. Not the greatest. It's hard. I can't remember who was in that first AEW run. It's so long ago at this point. But there's no fucking chance in hell they don't put this title on Mercedes. It's a bad business move. And Chuckopedia saying, no offense, but I hope Kairi retains. I mean, you don't need to say no offense. There's nothing to be offended by. I just think that that's wrong. Why would you pay Mercedes Moné all this money to come over to your company and just not have her win? Why would she agree to that? Why would she agree to come to your company and then not win? Like, it's just so much of this is like, if she does not win, I will be extremely confused about what is happening in New Japan. And we'll say that was a waste of Bushiroad's money. It's stupid if you do that. So yeah, no doubt in my mind, Mercedes Moné is winning. I'm really excited to see what she does in the ring, what these two can do, because they've wrestled in WWE, but I believe it was all during the pandemic era when they would have faced each other. So I want to see what they can do with a hot crowd in San Jose, California, what they can do outside of that system with Mercedes having that new moveset. I'm also just intrigued to see what she does with her new moveset. But finally, ending the show out with the main event for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Kazuchika Okada will defend his second defense, taking on the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Okada and Tanahashi have had tons of classics in the past. The one I think about is the one I was there for. I watched them at G1 Climax Night 1 in 2019 at Dallas, Texas, American Airlines Center. That's the one I always remember because I was there for it. And every time that these two face each other, they are going to have a great match. And it's been a little bit since we've seen their classic, especially with the title on the line. So I'm excited for this, especially in the States. You get that stateside crowd, which is always different than what the crowds you get in Japan. They just don't react the same. And even though you have cheering back in Japan now, it's still not the same as an American crowd. So I'm excited to see what these two do here. I think Okada always is on his A game in the States. I've never seen him have a bad match in the States. In general, Okada never has a bad match. He's the fucking best in the world. He's amazing. These two guys are going to have a great match, no doubt. But Okada's winning. Okada will retain his belt. Tanahashi is fantastic. I would like to see him get one more run with this belt before he retires, because I think he's getting up there at this point. But no, Okada's retaining here. I don't think Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to win. But like I said, this is going to be awesome. I think this is probably going to go around 25, 30 minutes. You're going to get your good old New Japan main event, hopefully, because I've noticed when they do the stateside shows, they don't really, I mean, they haven't done a stateside show in a bit, but I don't think they typically do like the New Japan like 30-minute classic main events. I want a 30-minute classic main event, like the one you would get in Osaka-jo Hall or what you would get in Budokan. Like I want those types of matches on the US shows now. I want it to feel like a New Japan show. And even when I go through this card does not feel like New Japan because there's a lot of Gaijin talent. There's a lot of Gaijins to Japan. So I would have liked on this card a little bit more of Japan, a little bit more of like Bushimon. Why aren't like they could have traveled over, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know if they're running shows this weekend in Japan, and they couldn't afford to lose everybody. But I would have really liked to have seen some more guys come over from Japan for this show, instead of it just being the normal like New Japan Strong guys. I know why they're not, but still, like it would have been really nice, especially because they haven't really been able to do that a lot since COVID. So now it's the time where you can start doing it. Hopefully, I know they're running because they're going to have the Multiverse United show. Hopefully, they fly some people over for that in March. Hopefully, when they do 2 or 3 weeks later, when they do Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., that they can also bring in some more people. I'm not really expecting it. I think it's going to be more of the Americanized talent, and then bringing in a few people like maybe Okada or bringing in like Will Ospreay. I'm surprised Will Ospreay's not on this card. Like, it's Will Ospreay. Why is he not on the card? Why is Kenny Omega your U.S. champion? Why isn't he on the card? There's just a million questions I have. But, I mean, overall, I am extremely excited for, 1 second, guys. I am extremely excited for this Battle in the Valley show. I think it's going to be awesome. And especially with this double main event. So yeah, I got Okada retaining and Mercedes Moné. We're gonna get a new IWGP Women's Champion. So yeah, let's go ahead. I know this wasn't a long show. I couldn't go a lot in depth. I don't do great at solo shows. I hope it was okay, guys. I'm not used to the solo shows, but let's go ahead and get these plugs out later today at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Something about Dynamite, talking about AEW Dynamite. I was there. I got flicked with gum. Fuck MJF. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about something about Dynamite with the whole crew at Around the Point. And then I don't know if we have the other stuff, but tomorrow night will be the flagship show. Oh yeah, here it is. The flagship show Around the Point. We're gonna be doing predictions for the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. And then True Heel Heat, our brothers over there, are going to be doing a watch along to Elimination Chamber. They might be doing one to Battle in the Valley. I'm not exactly sure. If not, like, if they don't, then I'll figure, like, I'll be doing, I don't know where I'm going to be doing a Battle in the Valley watch along. I'll be doing one though. So just make sure you pay attention. So yeah. And then I'm confirming something right now. I have something else to plug. Steve's going to be so fucking pissed at me. At 3 p.m. on Fightful Overbook today, Fightful, I will be on Day After Dynamite with Will Washington. I just got informed of this. Sorry, Steve. I love you. I just got told this on the air. So I will be over there, but make sure you watch both. Watch both shows because I don't want to challenge us. Watch both shows, everybody, because both shows will be awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to go get my ass chewed out by Steve. See ya.